Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Brian from Genesis, and super pumped today. We got an awesome guest with a lot of great information and content for you. Should definitely be able to learn something here. Dr. Sebastian from The
What's
Remarkable
up?
Practice. How are you, my friend? Also in
All
Puerto
good,
Rico,
man.
so trailblazer down in Puerto Rico for chiropractic. Amazing guy, great chiropractor, and like I said, tons of info that we're gonna give you guys today. So, Doc, how you been?
Man, I've been great. Just grinding and really just nonstop, head down, boom. So I'm just super excited to be here. I loved and enjoyed a lot when you came to Puerto Rico last time. Visit, had a blast,
Yeah,
and actually
great
that's
time.
when all this started and all this idea was born. So I'm just excited, man. Just excited. Let's just do this. Let's deliver some
Yeah.
value to your people, to your tribe.
Yeah, a little bit about you. I think you should tell them a little bit. I mean, this guy's got a lot going on. He's got practices, not just in Puerto Rico. Why don't you tell them a little bit about what you're doing and what
Sure.
your maybe some of your goals are and how you're
Yeah.
getting there.
So after the on 2017, we were having our best year in my office in Guaynabo. So by that time, I only had one office. I wanted, and I always wanted to scale my vision. So I knew that just being one office, I couldn't. I just would only be able to help those people. But if I can help others, see 15 2,000 visits in a month, then my impact will grow. So I was in that mindset, having the best year in my practice, everything super chill, great team. And then boom, hurricane hit. So that was like hard stop, going at 100 miles per hour to 0 miles per hour in less than 24 hours.
Right.
And that's when everything started. So it was really, really, really hard, man, because I've been in bankrupt economies. I've coached doctors in 7 different economies, Peru, Brazil, all Central America, Europe. They're all different economies, different currencies.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through bankrupt economies, right? 2008 when everything crashed, that type of economy. But I've never
Right.
been through a catastrophe economy. And in a
Mm-hmm.
catastrophe economy, health is not a priority. Everybody goes into like really literally food, water, shelter, and diesel because we live on an
Yeah.
island. So I was like, all right, it doesn't matter. I underestimated the problem, right? And I went like, it doesn't matter. So my positivity kicked in, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we're gonna be done in 2 weeks. This is gonna be all gone, and people prepaid their care already in my office, so they don't have to like dig in their pockets. So they should come back. And sure enough, 2 weeks passed, still in the ruts. No generators came in. We ordered our generator. It never came in. It took like 4 months to come in. By the time it came in, the day after the power grid got back on. So 3 months without
Wow.
electricity. Yeah.
Wow.
We were practicing in t-shirts, shorts, getting like this mosquito repellent because the natural BS doesn't work here, bro. They eat that for breakfast. Mosquitoes here eat the natural shit, man, for breakfast. So they were. It was tough, man. It was a tough environment. Everything in nature was giving you this feedback of brokenness. The sad death. Rotten diesel smoke and no income, bro.
Mm.
Literally. So finally, 3 months after, I'm like, all right, that's it. I'm done. This ends tomorrow. I don't know how this is gonna end, but tomorrow everything changes. And I just remember making that decision that night where I was going angry to bed, and that's not me
Mm.
at all. So next morning I wake up and then innate boom kicks in and gives me an idea. Go do a spinal screening on the supermarket next to your office, which is it's a very frequented place because food, water, shelter, diesel, right? Food,
Right.
everybody's there. But of course, first thought, what is it? I don't want to do it. I don't need to do that, man. I don't like the word celebrity, but that's what a lot of people consider me here in Puerto Rico because I'm on TV all the time, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, being humbled by it, getting beaten by mosquitoes. I'm standing in the front of the supermarket. So I finally decided to do it. And basically, it was something like I knew I had 7 seconds while the person had to go by me when they entered the supermarket to grab their little cart and then go in. So I was handing them the cart. And while I was handing them the cart, I will say, hey, the soup of the day is lentil soup, but the special of the day is chiropractic evaluation in my office. I'm Dr. Sebastian, I'm the chiropractor here next door. If you're interested, we're evaluating you to make sure that you're dealing with all this crisis as optimal as possible. I'll be here when you're done. See you later. And they're like, what the fuck was, like, what the heck is this? So long story short, that changed everything. I think we did like 10 appointments, paid appointments there, and that completely changed. So to this day now, in that year and a half where we were going through all that, that catastrophe was the greatest accelerator of my vision. That's when I met Align Life, and that's when I rebranded my office and brought the franchise into Puerto Rico. And immediately I had an office in North Carolina and an office in South Carolina, like within 3 months.
Yeah.
So immediately I started scaling and meeting just really important people. You being one of them, actually. I met you in those times, and it turned out to be
crushing it ever since, man. You've been crushing it ever since, and not only opening multiple going from a dying practice in a really difficult time to opening multiple practices and now coaching other doctors, and your impact is now huge. So let's dive into some of the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you have a lot to teach. The Remarkable Practice systems are very robust, very well structured, I would say, knowing them myself. But we got to break it down to something bite-sized, I would say.
Absolutely.
So I think the three main parts that I understand of the Remarkable Practice system for a successful practice are attraction, conversion, and retention. So if we could just maybe dive into one of those. I know you guys have a seminar coming up on retention. So let's dive into retention.
Sure.
And tell me a little bit more about retention. What makes retention? What makes for good retention in a practice? Are there 3 parts, 3, 5, 7 phases? How does it work?
All right, let's just chunk it down, right? So attraction, conversion, retention, and there's always a realm which is team building. That what it is. 90% of our problems are people problems. So we'll talk about that on next quarter. This quarter, it's all about retention. And because we're in the first month of this quarter, we're going to talk about early retention. Early retention during the patient process. So we have mid retention and then late stage retention. Today, we're going to focus on early retention. And early retention actually starts with setting clear expectations and agreements since the beginning of the game. Every great relationship starts with clear expectations and honest agreements around those expectations. Just think about it, professionally and personally.
Correct.
Think about a relationship that went sour. Ask yourself, were there clear expectations met? If it's yes, then they broke the agreements, and that's why it ended up sour. But if they kept the expectations and the agreements, it went well. So one of the things that early retention entails is we're going to break it down into short, mid-term, and long-term within that early retention. So short-term is how the patients, telling and setting the expectations on how your patients should feel after they get adjusted, or the expectation of how an adjustment or your adjustment should feel, okay? So, there's all types of chiros. There's this heavy-handed chiropractors that it's like, and they completely open up, right? And then there's these other chiropractors that use instrument adjusting only. There's other chiropractors, which is just like really light touch. And it's not that one is better than the other one. It's just, it's an art. And they express the art differently. And maybe they have been to other chiropractors. So it would be very nice to set that expectation in the beginning of how your adjustments are, how your adjustments feel. So if they have been in other chiropractors, they're already clear about it, and letting them know, hey, if there's any problem with it, just let us know, communicate. We just want to serve you on the highest level possible. Also, early retention. Make sure, guys, that you're listening. Make sure that you explain to the patients the possibility of the healing crisis. In other words, the how and what can happen after their first adjustment. I remember my dad when I was starting practice, and I started calling our patients after the first adjustment. And I will always, if my dad was next to me in the car, because I will do those calls in the car. If my dad was next to me in the car, I will be like, man, don't ever stop doing that. That's so important. Hey, don't eat the cable. Come here. And the dog is going to get electrocuted. Look at that. It's going to get electrocuted. There you go. He just made a mess here. All right. So that first call after the first adjustment really can help you evade bombs in the office. So it really sets it's a really nice way of setting a clear expectation of what the healing crisis entails, that it's normal and it's very common that people feel actually worse before they get any better. And that's actually a great response to their first adjustment. And setting that expectation is going to help a lot. Also, what to expect around their symptoms, because their main expectation is actually that you help them get rid of their symptoms. And if that's their goal and your objective as a clinician, then fantastic. Just let them know that that symptom may or may not go away, because it's a problem that, if that's the case, has been there for a long time. So make sure you set that expectation clear, that it took time to get to where they are today. So it's going to take time to be where they want to be. And then you ask, do you understand that? And then they say yes. And you get that agreement.
Now, if they, so you're saying if that is the style of practice that you have, where you are actually addressing symptoms or symptom relief, that's what you need to make sure the expectation is set. But if you're a practice that your goal is not symptom relief, it's correction or lifetime care, which I know a lot of TRP practices are, the expectation needs to be set that this is not about the symptom, right?
Correct.
Somehow. And I know you guys train on that kind of thing, because if that's the case, once their symptom is gone, then they're gone, right? Then
they're gone.
That's not retention.
That's not retention. So, and if the symptom is not gone, they're also gone. If the symptom doesn't go away, they're also out. Yeah, it's a lose-lose. It's a lose for them, lose for you, and lose for chiropractic. Absolutely. Yeah. So now, midterm retention. Midterm means that the patient, you let the patient know, and write this down if you're watching this. This is an done with you program, not a done for you program. Chiropractic is a done with you. I'm going to do this with you. Therefore, the ball is always in your court, and we expect you to follow, these three things, which we call in the Remarkable Practice the three-legged stool of results, which are adjustment rhythm. We expect you to follow your adjustment rhythm to break the subluxation patterns. The second thing in the three-legged stool of results is exercises. We're going to show you specific exercises that you're going to need to do so that you can experience and get the outcomes you want to get in this office. I am assuming that you did a really good goal getting which we can talk about in another webinar, and that's an art by itself. And the third thing on the three-legged stool is breaking bad habits. So if you set the expectation in the beginning with them, where it's a done with you program, and basically for you to get the results that you want in this office, in other words, for you to achieve the outcomes and the goals you want to achieve in this office, you have to do the three-legged stool of results. Follow the adjustment rhythm, breaking the bad habits, and do the exercises. That way, Dr. Brian, again, the ball is always in their court. And when you do a progress evaluation, it's not our report card as a doctor, it's their report card as a patient. It's like, all right, let's see how you've been doing with your three-legged stool. We did this progress evaluation. Oh my God, look, you're amazing. How's the three-legged stool? Yeah, I've been doing it. Oh, look, shitty. How's the three-legged stool? Let's find out. Oh, mediocre, halfway. So that way you take the stress off of you, the pressure off of you as a clinician, and you actually direct who has the power. Which, remember, in chiropractic, one of the greatest things about chiropractic is that the patient, it's not a doctor-patient relationship. It's a doctor-to-doctor relationship, because the patient is their own doctor. And you give them the power and the control to gain their health back. So they decide, it's like, no, I'm not delegating my health to anybody. I'm owning this. And you, as a chiropractor, you are their Sherpa, you're their mentor, you're the one who's doing this with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Cool. So let's say we have about 5 minutes left and we're on retention. I know you could probably talk about retention forever, but, and I guess what we're going to do is we're going to have a couple more of these calls and dive into the other parts, maybe mid and late retention. So what do you want to go into in the next 5 minutes or so before we leave off till next time? What do you think is most important?
Yeah, so remember that you're not in the results business as a chiro. You're not in that. Your job as a chiropractor is not to produce results. Your job as a chiropractor is to help them get their results. It's not yours, it's their results. So in order for that to happen, they need to act differently. They need to change their behaviors. And in order to change the behaviors, they need to change their beliefs. So you're not in the behavior changing business, in making people do other stuff. No, you're in the belief changing business. And when you turn a believer to an understander, you don't have to really then make anybody come to your office. They just understand why they have to come in. And that's true retention. So we're going to be doing a deep dive on retention, Dr. Brian, on October 22, 23 in Chicago. It's the remarkable, the TRP retention immersion. So if you can just log in, theremarkablepractice.com and sign in. It's going to be live. So I'm super excited about that, getting everybody together. And also, if you don't want to wait for October 22, 23, and you're having issues with your retention and you really want to know how you can set clear expectations and agreements since the beginning and make it really easy for your team to just manage patients, because they're actually doing their homework. So they're keeping adjustment rhythms. They're not have to call so many people or confirm so many visits, because they're really in compliance. And I can, just send me a message in Instagram or Facebook, Dr. Sebastian Bonnin, and we can just, I can send you a link and we can schedule a call and see how we can better help you. And let's make 2021 the best year ever, bro.
Let's do a couple of things. I'll make sure David does this, but we'll put, get your link to contact you directly or even schedule time with you directly, and also the link to the TRP event page, so they can either register for the event or they can register for some time with you, and we'll put that right below the video in our group, in our Facebook group, and that
awesome.
That should be cool, man. Should be able to help you guys either way. So this is awesome. I wish we had more time. We will take some more time and I think a couple weeks or so, we'll have Dr. Sebastian back on, and we'll dive a little deeper into retention and some more steps in the process. So that's it for today, brother. Thank you so much. Great to see you again. Can't wait to see you. I think I see you next weekend, do I? Do I see
Next
you in Park
weekend?
City?
No, actually, I'm gonna be in New Hampshire mountain biking, brother.
All right, all right. Well, I will see you soon, I'm sure. So thank you so much, brother, and I'll at least see you on the next video, and we'll help everybody with some more content. Love you, man.
Bye.